I don't want to say she's my least favorite, but she's rude. She doesn't look much like me, except for the black eye. Isabella.
Oh, you skipped right over that.
I saw it was a very nice picture.
It still looks so red.
Can you color correct it after? Can you do it in post?
I mean, I can
Can you fix
definitely,
it in
I can
post?
definitely fix it in post, but why does it look this way? I feel like I should know.
I don't know. Is it filming?
Yeah.
No!
I'm not gonna include this. Don't worry. That
Yeah,
was
you're
all off the record.
Sorry.
I don't know. I'm in front. Let's just see if my chair is in front.
Are we like introducing ourselves, or is it just?
Oh yeah, I'm in front.
Is it just chatter?
This is so
We could probably
pretty.
introduce ourselves in majors.
Allie, I don't want to take any paper out of your...
Oh,
Okay,
don't feel bad.
Sure.
Okay. Wait,
It's
wait,
so
no, but
pretty.
I wanted to open
Yeah.
Well,
with
I can
us
give you-
examining.
No.
And I think that for me, I find a line here. I think there's so, I don't want to say so little, but obviously some things you can control, like this mark making, is very intentional. And then we have others that, you know, the water, you can't really control how far the water's, the viscosity of the water.
Whoa.
So I just think it's very interesting, the juxtaposition of the two.
You're holding the painting the wrong way.
Is it this way?
Yes.
Is
Like,
Okay.
you're like, we're closing this.
Thank you for analyzing my work.
You should post those.
Post them.
Yeah,
They're
like
so pretty.
Neither of you have art Instagrams, that makes me upset.
I kind of have an art Instagram.
Let's talk about social networking
I have
as
a
an art
ceramics
major.
one. Here you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I have to share water.
No.
I'm so sorry. I probably won't use a lot though. Okay.
Oh, no.
These are the watercolor brushes.
Gosh, I don't know what to make.
Oh, well. Make me.
So, how about everybody on the panel go down the line and introduce themselves, starting with...
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm a sophomore studio art major, manifesting the BFA program, in which I would do my concentrations in painting and design. I'm from Acton, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston that has nothing interesting in it. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Eli Bryant. I'm a studio art education major. Probably gonna concentrate in painting. I'm from Henniker, New Hampshire. I'm a Cancer.
Oh, I'm a Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important to my art making.
I like oil painting. I don't remember what else. What else was I?
That was good.
That was good.
And I'm Alia Bakova. I'm also manifesting the BFA in a concentration in photography and design.
Cool.
And I'm a Libra.
We love that for you.
Mhm.
A lot of balance.
So I'm going to do this like a casual group interview where I will pose a question to the group and we can go around and give our own personal answers.
That sounds good to me.
Everyone gets really emotional.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Forgot paper towels.
It's okay.
Okay, so question number one, I'm going to start really light. What inspired you to study art? Something related to art?
It's a great question, Allie. Well, I feel like for me, if we're going like way back, my mom went to art school. She's an architect, so she's always been very like, always had like a ton of art supplies for like me and my sister, and we do like, I feel like I tried a lot of art stuff as a kid, and just had a lot of access, and like we'd go to museums and stuff, and I feel like that was really important for my like just cultural understanding of art. Like we have a ton of art like around the house, and she always has like a story of like who made it or like where she got it or like stuff that she made. So that's always been like important to me. And then like I had like a really great like first and second grade teacher who was also like did like art as like her like side career. And so we did a ton of like cool stuff in there and like had a bunch of awesome like materials and projects with that. But then like later in life, like I always like took art classes like in like middle school and high school, and I felt like a while my mom was pushing me to do art, which I feel like is not like a unique experience, but I feel like a lot of people's parents, I don't know what your guys' experiences are, but like are very like, oh, like what are you gonna do with that? Like they're not really seeing a lot of professional opportunities. But my mom was like on the opposite side. She's like, no, you have to do art. Like there's so many things going on. Like this is like, she wanted me to go into architecture, but I was like, no. But so then I did, my parents like literally forced me to do this. I sound so spoiled, but they forced me to do this summer intensive like art program the summer before senior year at a college in Boston. So I would go, and it was like every day in July, and I took the train every day, like 2 hours there, 2 hours back, and I was just making art all day, and it was like the most in my element I've ever been. And I had a ton of great like professors who like taught at the school, and they were just like, they just like changed the way I looked at like making everything, and I feel like I just became obsessed with like being part of that process and part of that culture of making things. So yeah, I feel like that like summer before senior year was like when I really decided that that's what I was like that's what I needed to do. So at that point there became no other options.
That's cool. I didn't know that about you.
If anyone else wanted to share.
Yeah, that was a really good answer.
That's amazing.
I feel like I was never like super confident in school, like about school, because like I don't know, I always just had a really hard time and had to try like so hard to like do well. And yeah, like my dad was not, like he was like, oh, what do you want to like do? Like obviously I wanted to do art, but he was more like pushing for something else. Like I'm a art education major, and I did think about doing, oh I forget, I did think about architecture. I also thought about like doing something really boring. Oh, human resources, because that's what my dad does. And he was really like not into the idea of like being an artist, because I feel like it's just not part of the culture really, or like part of Maine culture in like New Hampshire suburbs, to be an artist and like do that with your life. But I really only felt comfortable like anywhere in school, like at home, doing art, because I don't know, it just made me comfortable and nothing else did. So I guess that's really it. And my parents like were never necessarily happy with what they were doing as a career. Like my dad is happy to like help people.
Shout out Welch's.
I know. Shout out Tony at Welch's. But like neither my parents were really passionate about what they were doing, and I took a career course like my senior year about like what do you want to do when you're older, because I didn't know. And they basically talked about doing like your passion the whole time in the class. And I was like, well, I don't really care that much if I make a ton of money, because it's like, what do I need? Nothing. And so I was like, yeah, I think I'll try being an artist or an art teacher, because all my teachers have really inspired me growing up.
Allie, tell us about your path.
Yes.
Well, my mother also went to art school.
I didn't know.
I was not
She
aware.
did, yeah. But when she came to the U.S., she had me when she was very young, so she never really used her degree, but she would always, like bring that into my life, and she taught me how to like draw and paint. And I guess I was like just naturally like creative. It was like the only thing that could really like keep my attention. I don't think I've like ever like thought I wanted to do a different career. Like I was like I'm not stupid, like I did good in like other classes and I got A's and stuff, but the only thing that could like really excite me or keep my attention was art class. And I think just like growing up with a mom who really liked art, it was just something I just sort of got from her. And I had a really good teacher in high school, and she like brought the joy in it. We could just do not like whatever we wanted, but she was more interested in like bringing something that's already inside of us rather than like making and breaking us.
I love that.
Breaking and making us. I don't know. My story's not as good as you guys.
No, I loved that.
It was just like, I guess probably the only thing that could like keep my attention
I feel that.
for like a longer period of time. Like I don't think I could ever sit, not like this to like people who code, but I don't think I could ever sit down and code and be like, yeah, that was really fulfilling.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
that.
think that's my answer.
Also, all of us mentioned teachers.
We did.
Which
The art educators
I know.
are so crucial to furthering
Yeah.
art in the community, in the world, really.
So true.
Okay, are we ready for another question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is something or some things that are inspiring your art making right now?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Very open-ended, but
Did you want to start out?
me?
Yeah.
You don't have to. I'm just curious.
Yes, I can
Something
start.
you'd be interested
It's a little bit of a loaded question. Right now, I think I'm really inspired by like shadows
in.
because there's so much and so little information in a shadow. Like the color is gone and like the depth is gone, but you still see like the complete form and stuff. And I just think like you can see the shadow of something and like you usually know it's there unless it's like really abstracted. I
Yeah.
just think it's really cool.
I like that.
I'm in love with shadows. Yeah.
That was
My
edgy.
answer.
I'm in love with
I'm in
shadows.
love with shadows right now. They're my ally.
Oh my gosh.
Not the Bruce Wayne-ification of ally.
Should I go?
If you have something, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I do. Spring is my favorite season. So
It's that time of the year.
yeah, spring cleaning. So I feel like right now I'm really inspired by spring and like flowers and bright colors because everything was just so dark and woodable, and so there's just a lot more color, or there's starting to be a lot more color, and I love like the story of like Persephone and Hades. Cause every time it turns spring, I'm like, yes, I have to do stuff with Greek mythology. Cause I don't know, that just always inspires me a lot. But probably spring.
Well, I think I'm getting a little inspired right now just in my classes because I'm taking a design class and a ceramics class right now, and those are both mediums that I haven't really explored before, so I feel like that's definitely been like holding my attention just because everything is so new. Especially in like the ceramics class right now, we've started like having our stuff, like we've been glazing and like that's been coming out of the kiln, so that's really exciting, like as you mentioned, like with like color and just like seeing stuff like come to life. That's been very inspiring and just like motivating, because sometimes like it's hard when you're like maybe working on something and you're not really getting a final product right away, but I feel like I've been able to like physically see what I'm producing, and as someone with ADHD, having that physical, tangible object to motivate me is something that tends to work very well. But in the sense of like also just what's inspiring me like creatively right now, I would say I think just like the mundane is something that I've always been very drawn to. Just like not to be like just the little things, but like I've just been doing like a lot of not like still lifes, but I'm just like sketching or painting or drawing like what's around me and just like spaces that I like surround myself in like constantly. And I think being able to kind of find what's beautiful in what you see every day and might not really like what you might be taking for granted. I think that's something that I would say like consistently find interest in. So I would say that's for right now. That's what's keeping me up at night.
That was beautiful, Isabella.
Yeah, I know.
You're really outdoing both of us.
Stop!
Yeah, you
Make me
are.
uncomfortable.
You're so well spoken.
Sorry.
You're making me cry.
That was the goal of this interview.
Yeah, it
I did
was.
want some tears.
Oh well.
But, you know, by your standards, because we're not crying, it's like mundane,
Whoa.
which is inspiring.
Yeah, I think this moment right now is very beautiful.
I think so too. Okay, I think this is the finale question.
Oh my gosh.
As students, do you guys take yourself seriously as artists? Like, do you value
I
your
wish I
work?
did more.
Mhm.
Me too.
I think a lot of the time, even I feel like I'm guilty on this. I'll go on like TikTok and people like, you know, do like painting TikToks and they're like, people in the comments are like, what do you mean like you're selling this for like $2,000? Like I'd maybe pay like $40 for that.
Mhm.
And I like, in part of me, just because I'm like broke, like agrees. I'm like, why are we gatekeeping this art? Like art should be accessible, like
Mhm.
things like that. It's so like elitist and whatever. But then I'm also like, am I ever gonna get to a place where I would be able to sell my art and live off of that? I don't know, and I don't feel that that's my goal necessarily. But
Mhm.
I see both sides so strongly of the like valuation of art
Right.
in its pricing. However, I try to take myself as seriously as I can. Like I have like an Instagram where I post my stuff and I just usually will just like put the dimensions and what I made it out of just to like keep it like simple and just like keep an updated portfolio of my work.
Mhm.
And like I don't know, it's public so people can see it. But I'm not like I've been wanting to so badly like put in my bio like everything's for sale like
Mhm.
but like that feels so like I don't know. It's
It's a big
it's
step.
it's hard with art because you don't want to make people like you don't want to be like oh I think I'm really good.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think there's, I think it's very, I don't really believe in that concept of like art not being good.
Right.
But it's so hard to like put yourself out there and like be like you're like bragging about yourself or like you think you're so special and like you like I don't know like that's what I've been battling recently.
Mhm.
So I would like to take myself more seriously as an artist, and I think I'm getting there. But right now, I'm trying my best.
I think that's fair. People, I mean, like, we live in New England, and I feel like most, or the majority of New England doesn't like value culture. So like in that we don't really have like much culture, so we don't like respect art as much. But like if you go to like Boston or like I mean
Just
you
outside of New
Boston.
England.
Yeah. I mean
Yeah.
like certain
A big city.
certain parts of New England like Boston